How's it going, folks? Stu here. Weird. It's not just the word that people mutter under their breaths while making sheepish eye contact at me from across the room in any social gathering. It is, in fact, a movie. That's right, Tara Reid's 2022 TikTok feed. They made a film about you. Congrats. Weird, the Yankovic story, is the biopic about Weird Al Yankovic. What a shocker. Now listen, I'm not like a die-hard Weird Al Yankovic fan, but I know his classics. I love his sense of humor. I was very excited going into this one because it just seemed like a good excuse to have a silly old time. And that is exactly what this one ended up being. I haven't had this much fun in a cinema this consistently for a long, long time. This film supplied some of the biggest and most consistent laughs I've had in a comedy film throughout all of 2022. This film is a hoot. It stars Daniel Radcliffe in the lead here as Weird Al Yankovic, which is immediately not the most obvious casting I think you would have gone with for something like this. Like when that got announced, I was like, I mean, I'm excited, but what? But after watching the film, weirdly, I kind of feel like this is almost the most at home we've seen Daniel Radcliffe in a performance yet. Every actor, I think, that's in the game long enough sort of finds that role that they were kind of born to play. And yes, look, as I'm saying that, I'm aware many people are going to say Harry Potter was that role for Daniel Radcliffe, and it very much was. It was. But hear me out. Weird Al Yankovic might actually be the role he was made to play. Maybe. He's so good here and is so clearly having just an absolute hoot. It is just endlessly funny, endlessly watchable. And that's something I loved about Daniel Radcliffe's post-Potter career. It's just he takes on roles which are just weird and out there and clearly taken because he wants to do them, not because that's the role that he should be slotting into with his career trajectory. Playing Al Yankovic here just feels like Radcliffe fucking around, and it works so well. Because by all means, this film is sort of just everyone fucking around, but in like a well-crafted way, which is a quality that I love about good parodies and spoofs, right? I know that, you know, there's a lot of bad parody films out there. The Scary Movie franchise went on a big downhill trend and ended up getting ultra lazy and just not funny by the end of it. There's a way to do these things poorly, and I do think that I guess there's a tendency to sometimes look down on parody films as just kind of easy. You know, you're just mimicking something and making that funny. But there are many films, and this one sort of joins them, that are just a kind of testament to how much craft is actually behind a good parody film. It's not just about doing something that we saw done elsewhere and then, you know, putting it in the context of a comedy film and laughing at it. Good parodies have a clear sort of understanding of the genre of a thing that they're parodying, and they use that to their advantage. I think about things like Lonely Island and their latest film, Popstar. They make good pop music, right? The things they're making are good in that realm. They just happen to also be taking the piss out of that thing. You even go further back to something like Team America World Police, which is a piss take of obviously that whole kind of Thunderbird puppet thing, but also that sort of deeply problematic American action film staple that became so cliche. I remember watching the making of that and just being like, this is a film that is good at that. Like, it's making a good over-the-top action film. It's doing it well. I think projects that do that do the thing they're parodying well, just create a certain extra level of kind of charm to what we're watching on screen. And that is definitely present and one of the most sort of endearing things, I think, about Weird, the Al Yankovic story. It's a film which understands all of the cliches and all the genre staples that it is so playfully sort of ripping apart in front of us, which allows it to use those to really kind of amp up the absurdity, which is the most appropriate way I think you could go about doing a biopic about Weird Al. And this might feel like a very obvious thing to say, but it's good that it got this right. It feels like a Weird Al movie to other movies, in the same way that Weird Al's music feels like the appropriate parody to that music. And it's a sort of screenplay that is so clearly reveling in the fact that it is just kind of nonsense. And I think once a film is able to let go of needing to do certain things and can just have fun with itself, it just sort of frees itself up, and you can just see it kind of snowballing through these absurd moments, these absurd situations, and it stacks the absurdity on top of each other, which makes for a really fun and stupidly engaging watch from a comedy sense, just seeing where the hell it's gonna go. It goes to genres I didn't expect it to be going to, and because of that, it gets some huge belly laughs out of me. There are some running jokes in here that I've just been sort of thinking about ever since I saw it. I saw it at the end of September, so I still keep thinking about it and laughing, which is the best compliment I think you could give to any comedy film, that has jokes that have stuck with me and that are just stupid. And I love that stupid, nonsensical approach to comedy. And I'm really thankful that this film doesn't let that kind of absurdity get in its way, because I think there's a tendency with a lot of films that are very quickly showing to you that they're going to be absurd, you know, setting themselves up as, look how wacky and wild we're going to be. There's a tendency sometimes to just get a little bit bored, and I think it can be easy to sort of lose the element of surprise that comes with that sort of absurd narrative. I was a little bit anxious at first to see whether or not that premise, that kind of fabricated biopic cliche parody life of Weird Al Yankovic would be sustainable for an entire runtime of a film. I was worried that it would just sort of dip off and be the same humor and over, but it never did. It's just kind of relentless in its silliness, and that makes it more fun. It really reminds me a lot of Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story, which was the parody version of Walk the Line. An incredibly silly, dumb film. Like, not a great parody, but a comedy that I love and that I've watched many times and consistently makes me laugh. If you've ever seen that, that feels like the most accurate comparison I can give you to sort of understand the hook of this thing, right? It's going to be endlessly rewatchable. I cannot wait to kick back with some beers and watch this. I think it's going to become one of those sort of late night, stupid, silly comedy staples. It's definitely going to become a hungover film watch for sure. I'm just realizing that. I can't wait to watch this on my hungover days. It's out tomorrow on the Roku channel. I don't know how you get, I think there's sticks. I think it's an app that you can get on anything. You can watch it tomorrow, basically. It's out for free, so check it out. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. We'll have a little chat. Of course, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see me talk about more shit, go ahead and click subscribe. Buttons down there for that, as well as my socials if you want to follow me on any of those. I'll see you guys soon for some more thoughts on more films, but until next time, I can't believe I didn't do this review in a Hawaiian shirt. I'm only just realizing it. I am the worst content creator ever.